Well, yesterday's video worked, so I'm just going to try and do this on a regular basis, hopefully Monday through Friday in the morning on the way into work. And yesterday was a good day as far as bringing in additional income. I brought in probably an additional $200. The goal on a daily basis, Monday through Friday, is to try and bring in an additional $130, and that will allow us to get the car repaired, work on the debt reduction, sock away extra for Aaron's Acorn account, try to do probably an extra $100 on that every 2 weeks. So I wanted to kind of talk about a point that when you have money, managing that money is fun. It's really fun if you use something like Quicken to manage your daily finances, because you get a snapshot every day as to whether or not you're on track with your goals and priorities, and keep track of all your bills, etc. And of course, paying on time helps your credit rating. Although, personally, I don't believe in the credit rating, although in society you have to, but I would much rather get to a point in our finances where you're paying cash, and so we really don't need that credit rating. So our immediate goals are to get that car fixed, get the Dodge Grand Caravan, just because with all the additional work that I'm doing, instead of beating up our 2015 Kia Optima or the Volkswagen Beetle, the 2012 Volkswagen Beetle, I'd much rather use the Dodge Grand Caravan and get that back into circulation for both family needs, being able to carry cargo, ease of getting the stuff in and out of the car, which will just help to be faster and hopefully increase the amount of money coming into the household. So yesterday the goal was to try and work on the Smart Money book and continue taking notes on the Smart Money book. That did not happen, although I was able to get to number 45 of the Wealth 101 book, which there's 101, i.e. the title of the book, Wealth 101. There's 101 different statements, strategies, wealth concepts, and I'm at about number 45, so highlighting that. But that's always a hit and miss, because during the day I have no idea how busy I'm going to be able to take those notes or highlight a book. Jim was in the office yesterday. Quite frankly, I don't know how long he's going to keep his business up and running. I think he's talking about uprooting everything and traveling around the United States in an RV or moving somewhere, and he's riding a fine line. He doesn't really want to tip his hand, because he doesn't want me to bail on him, because that would kind of thwart his plans. So I'm not really worried about that, because I've got additional income sources that if he does shut down the business, I just flip on the other business and do that full time. And that doesn't even thwart the desire to do stock stuff, because I can turn that on and off at will. And so I would be able to monitor the stock market while the market's open, and then just turn on the app and go run the other business. So it's always important to have a plan B. You never know where Murphy's gonna poke up its ugly head and throw a wrench into your plans. Additionally, that little Murphy did pop up its heads yesterday. Nana was in an accident a while back. Had to go through back surgery. Nana's Tracy's mom, and so she's in rehab right now, probably for another 5 or 6 weeks. set for retirement, which throws the burden and responsibility on us to support a family member. I guess I could be angry about that, but that's really what life's about, is taking care of your loved ones, the immediate loved ones that are close to you. Unfortunately, my parents are back in Minnesota, and they're financially set as far as I know, and they have a support system back in Minnesota. So getting back to the book, The Wealth 101, a lot of good concepts, a lot of things that really got me excited. Things like doing covered calls with $20,000 to $40,000 in a brokerage account should be able to net you somewhere between $4,000 to $10,000 a month reoccurring on that same $20,000 to $40,000. And so that's really why it's kind of like a race, to try and make as much money as possible, sock away this money, practice the writing calls strategy with the TC2000 software, where you have the ability to paper trade before you actually put any of your money actually into the market, to make sure that you've refined this and you actually understand how things work, and do an autopsy on things to find out why they did work and or why they failed. And so I'm really itching to get to that point where we've taken the books, broken them down into notes, broken down the notes into strategies, and broken down the strategies into scans to try and find those different opportunities to be able to throw the money at those different strategies in order to be able to make the income and getting really good at becoming an expert at minimizing your losses. And so that's around the corner. It's really close. I'm really getting excited about all of this. I really want to start putting this stuff into practice. The analogy that I can give is, it's like somebody said, golf is a really fun game, and you can make money at it, and so you're going on out and you're getting all the books and you're learning about how to play the game of golf, and you're learning the rules about the game, and you're learning about how to swing and all the different clubs that you have and the different shots, and then you want to go to the driving range and go practice those different shots to be able to actually go take it out onto the course to go play. And even if you're not able to make money, you can still have a lot of fun while you're doing it and supplement your income. But my goal is to become a professional and therefore make the money. So on a second strategy inside of the book, a little story about Japanese investors that had gone to one of Wayne Cook's seminars, and they had brought $100 million just to do dividends, where they bought the stock just prior to a dividend announcement, kept it through that dividend date, where it triggered that they would get a dividend for the money that they bought the stocks with, and then turned around and sold the stock, captured the dividend, and over the course of 1 year turned the $1 million into $2 million. So obviously we don't have $100 million. Excuse me, it was $100 million, not $1 million. We don't have $100 million to invest in, but that's not the point. The point is, if you had $1 and you were able to turn it into $2, 100 into 100, 1,000 into 1,000, 10,000 into 10,000. The dividend strategy is also another thing that seems really interesting. Rolling stocks, options. There's just so many different facets of the stock market. You don't have to do all of them. It's really getting good at one or two of them and becoming an expert at that. And really, you wouldn't have to ever work another day in your life. And so that's where I'm getting to, because ultimately what I find and what I regret is that when you're running so hard and you're working so hard, you want that freedom, you want that time, because when you're on your deathbed, when you're getting ready to pass away, the thing that you reflect back on is that you wish that you would have spent more time. I wish I could have spent more time with my kids. I wish I had the ability to support them. But what I find, and what I've been, don't want to say a victim of, but where I really take that priority of being a man to heart, is it's my primary responsibility to take care of the family. Tracy's home. Tracy's home with Aaron. I wish that I had somebody that was out running as hard as I am, so that I had the ability to be able to stay home with Aaron and with Zoe and the grandkids and the pets, and take care of the house and the yard, etc., and somebody would be able to go support our household. I don't like going out to work, but it's like somebody has to be willing to roll out of bed on a continual basis and go chase this money and try to minimize the spending and go take this additional money and go put your money to work for you. And it's like, if you can really tap into that at an early age and recognize that if you're willing to sacrifice early, you'll have 2/3 of the rest of your life to be able to go on out and enjoy it with family, friends, loved ones, doing the things that you want to go do, and the money machine from your money working for you will repeatedly produce that income that you need in order to be able to support your lifestyle and your dreams. So that's why I'm chasing this, because if the other option is to try and go start up your own business. But what I found is, starting up your own business, it's like, if you're not working, your business fails like in 2 weeks. If you're by yourself, if something was to happen to me and I got into an accident like I recently did, thank God I wasn't in the hospital like Nana is. But it's like, if I'm not out there producing the income, what happens to our household? What happens to our finances? Tracy would then have to try and support me, support Aaron, support the household, while I'm, in bed, trying to recover. And so it's like, how can you do something from home to go produce this income without having to rely on other people out there as leverage, to try and bring in some additional income? And so I've got these things called pennies and dollars that I can go put to work on my behalf. And I've always said, as long as I've got my brain, as long as I have the ability to communicate, write things down, even if I can't speak, pass on my message to somebody else, a lot of times your ability to move and function diminishes